Let's just start, shall we? Let's turn down the music a little bit. Let's just get a move on. She-Hulk episode 3. So much to talk about. So much. We'll be talking about the episode itself. We will give it a number out of 5 review. And I think we'll do what we do for an Avatar of the podcast and give an MVP out for most valuable player, most valuable MVH, most valuable Hulk. No, they're all. Only one Hulk now. And we'll sneak this in here right before the numerical review as well. We'll put in small things you might have missed, because I did on a first watch. I watched this episode 3 times. I watched it once when it came out. I watched it again last night, and then I watched it again right before we went live. So it was fresh. It was fresh in my mind. So here we go. Let's talk about it. The episode itself, we have the trial of Emil Blonsky. I love Emil Blonsky. Take a step back. I don't love Emil Blonsky. I love Tim Roth. I think Tim Roth is at his finest and most aloof for me on this one. Just like fucking brilliant portrayal. Every time he was on screen, I couldn't take my eyes off of the screen. It was great. And the chemistry between Emil, check your privilege, Greg. Check your privilege. Jen, Greg, check your privilege. Tatiana and Tim was fucking 5 out of 5. The back and forth they had, the little glances they were sharing at each other, just they were like feeding off of each other, and they're both brilliant actors. Absolutely. If you've seen Orphan Black, I haven't seen all of Orphan Black. I think I saw 2 seasons, and I had binged it and I caught up. And you ever get into that train of thought? You ever get into that mindset where you binge something and then you get caught up and it's weekly and you're just like, I don't want it anymore. That's what happened with me in Black Orphan, but it was great. It was a great show what I watched. And Tim Roth, seen any Quentin Tarantino movies from back in the day? You know him. Remember that show Lie to Me with Tim Roth? I do. I watched every episode of that. It was brilliant. It was like House, but with just lying. Instead of him being able to diagnose someone's sickness, he could tell when you're lying to him all the time. It was wonderful. So good. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Chemistry was just a broth of Roth. Is that a thing, Dylan? A broth of Roth. That can't be a thing. It can't be a thing. You just make that up? That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's well done. Well done. The B plot was, what the hell was that guy's name? The shitty male fragile bro worker is what I'll call him. What the hell was his name? I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. The bro worker. Shitty male bro worker tries to sue an Asgardian guardian. I don't know how to spell Asgardian. Asgardian shape-shifting elf, because she was shape-shifting as Megan Thee Stallion. By the way, I have no idea who that is. I'm way too old to keep up with anything like that. Turns out she's an actual artist. Who knew? Who knew? Not me. Not me. Not me. Pop culture. Not my forte here. This is why I'm running a She-Hulk show here. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about what I'm looking at on my side screen. Don't worry about it, all right? Just keep your eyes on the prize here. Something that was really cool is how I feel like very rarely in these MCU shows do we get an A plot and a B plot that work fairly well together on an episodic level. I know we had A plot, B plots throughout a lot of the other shows, but it was never really on, I feel like, on an episode wavelength, right? It was stretched throughout the season. This one was just a nice, like, it felt like a solid superhero lawyer episode, comedic lawyer episode. And that's what the show is. And that's what this show is. It's like, I love how She-Hulk was like, hey, guess what? We're a comedy with some lawyer stuff and fourth wall breaking with a female lead. And every single fucking review that I've seen has been like, wow, it's too funny. It's funny. They're making fun of me. It's like, shut up. Watch something else. Anything else. I watched a review. I don't remember the name of the channel. If I say a review, I watched 3 or 4 minutes of it. So I wanted to hear what other people had to say on the episode that had a different perspective than I did. This guy bought what looks like $1,000 camera and a $20 microphone. It was so cringe. It was terrible. It was terrible. I was like, if you're talking about anything in a podcast format, make sure your microphone is more than a 2015 Blue Yeti that you don't know how to use. Plug directly into OBS. Fucking spend some money on what people are listening to versus what they're seeing. Because I'll tell you what, pal, you ain't much to look at. And this is me talking. Anyways, this guy was just like, I don't like this episode. This episode was bad. And here's my wife to agree with me. And his wife was like, yeah, it wasn't that great. And he's like, thank you, wife. I definitely didn't tell her what to say. Trust me, for I have a channel and a camera and this $5 microphone held up by a bag of Doritos. Just drove me nuts. It just drove me. I'm like, I've been doing podcasting and streaming and content creation one form or another for a little bit of time now. I've been doing it longer than I will ever admit because I, in all honesty, should have given up by now. But I'm just too damn stubborn for that. So I didn't. But like, I don't know. If you're going to have hot takes, get some decent equipment. That's neither here nor there. I'm going off on a tangent at this point. All right, back to She-Hulk. We get Wong showing up. So what they did was they tied in what we saw in Shang-Chi, like we saw in the last episode, right? Into She-Hulk. And this was brought up. They're saying, you know, you broke out. This is a big deal. Like, you're so remorseful. Why did you break out? And it turns out that Wong brought the Abomination, aka Emil Blonsky, to the Fight Club as a test for him being a Sorcerer Supreme. He needed to do this. It's just funny. It's just funny. So Wong is by far, I think, my favorite character so far in this new saga that we're in. He is hilarious. He's super dry with his delivery. He's always very serious and stoic. And he's Benedict Wong, who is the actor's real name, if you didn't know. is able to tap into this slapstick dryness that I've been really enjoying lately. And he did it in Multiverse of Madness, and he really got it down in She-Hulk for the amount of screen time that he had. And then they dropped this small little detail. He was a Target sales associate for 9 years. As if the man couldn't be more likable. He worked retail, and that's why he's that grumpy in my mind. Fucking brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Amazing. I love this is what She-Hulk has done. We've been doing it since episode 1, and I haven't touched upon it yet because it didn't feel relevant up until now. Because it wasn't a pattern. It was more like things here or there. Episode 1, there's a QR code in the background of the bar that Jen was kind of sauntering into after she transformed for the first time. If you scan that QR code with your phone, at least at the time that it came out, you get a copy of a She-Hulk comic for free. Episode 2, when we get a look at a screen in the clickbait ads, they talk about a man with metal claws at a bar fight. Wolverine. Again, a little detail hidden in there. If you're paying attention, you get it. If you don't, sorry, you missed it. Or I don't know, you fucking watch a YouTube video that's shittily produced and that's just recorded live because you're too lazy to edit it.
Well done, Greg. Fucking careless.
Yeah. Episode 3, we get that little bit of trivia about Wong. Blonsky, as it turns out, has several wives or soulmates or girlfriends or whatever you want to call them. And I think, give props to the show. I want to give it credit where credit's due. They weren't all traditionally super attractive supermodels. They were just everyday women. He met these women through the prison pen pal program, which I love because although he's saying he's not a murder psychopath and he's a tool of the government and all this stuff, I don't believe him. I 100% don't believe him. And we'll go into it a little bit why I don't later. But he has all these women behind him and they're just like, they're gonna support him financially. And it's just this nice little touch that they didn't have to put in that they did. Like, we could have had this whole episode without that, but it gives it that flavor. It's a detail that adds to the story. It doesn't take away from anything. And now that it's on there, I can't imagine Emil's arc without that detail. You know what I mean? Anyways, long story short, both cases are won. She-Hulk wins her case. And then her pug is the lawyer who takes on the case of the bro worker, because the bro worker doesn't want Jen to know that he got scammed out of $175,000. And he didn't want any woman to know that because they could be his, catch this, future wife. It's just, what a shithead. What an absolute shithead. They both come up with good arguments. They both win their cases. And here's something that's really interesting that happens. Emil, I'm going to play the clip in a minute. Emil is sentenced to his freedom. He's you're fine, but he cannot turn into the Abomination again. And he has to wear a power dampener, for lack of a better term, to make sure he doesn't. If he breaks any of these conditions, he goes right back to the Slammer. He is told this here. Wait for it. Wait for it. Look at his face. Look at his face. That is not. And look, I'm one of his wives. That's not the button I wanted. Try it again, Steve. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Steve, our PA, everyone. There's no Steve.
That's rough, buddy.
There's no Steve. Well, look at his face. They tell him it, and he's like, fuck. Look at that. He's not happy. He is not a happy man. Which makes me believe that this is what I would like for them to do. I think what they will do is they're going to have him transform into the Abomination because he can't help it, and he's gonna go back in jail, right? Someone's gonna fight him, they're gonna put him back in, and that's gonna be the end of it. What I would like to see is them explore the fact that the Abomination is a part of him. Emil has been a very, for lack of a better term, hippie or hippie adjacent character in She-Hulk. He's been very mellow, very cool, very chill. He turns into the Abomination in front of everyone and retains his own voice, which is weird because in the 2008 movie, he definitely had like a vocal effect. It was like, you know, it was deeper, like, it was like that. But he's kind of had his name. He kind of sounded like Korg a little bit. Hello, yeah, I got my cup of the morning. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Gavin. Please stay. Please don't leave me. You know, he had his Tim Roth voice. So he transforms, everyone freaks out, and then he calmly puts a towel around him, transforms back into Tim Roth, so he's not naked in front of everyone, and puts his Crocs back on. He's in control. I think he likes being the Abomination. He gets a adrenaline rush out of it. He gets something out of it. And the fact that he can't do it anymore is probably going to be chemically, almost like chemically neutering him, I guess. Right? They're like, hey, you can't do this anymore. This is a part of you. I hope they, and long story short, I hope they figure out a way to keep the Abomination and Emil Blonsky a character and a person instead of just a villain. I think that's what the multiverse saga really needs. A lot of the villains in the beginning of the MCU were just monsters. They were just bad guys to be bad guys. And then they kind of figured out a way to make the villains a little more sympathetic, to make them a little more approachable, right? And I think that's what you need in a good character and a good villain arc. Spider-Man did it, has been doing it for a very long time. It's time to really get these villains that were done a little dirty in the first place, in my opinion. Give them a little redemption, and so we can drag them through the mug again if we need to, and it'll be that much more heartbreaking, it'll be that much more compelling, and it'll be that much better of a story. Will they do that? No. It's a goddamn superhero show. It's a goddamn superhero movie. Probably not. Probably expecting too much out of it. But it looks like they're sowing the seeds for something with the Abomination, and I'm very much looking forward to figuring out what that is and watching it, whether it's a next Hulk movie show, whether it's, I don't know, something else. Avengers, Strange, I don't know. Something else. You know what I mean? At the end, Jen, who's been kind of weary of all of the hullabaloo with the media around her, decides with, you know, Emil's help, decides she's going to tackle the media head on and take charge of her own image. And the media still kind of warps it, which the media in this is a character in and of itself, which is amazing. It's this nice little touch they do. I don't know if anyone noticed this. There's 2 or 3 times where the media just blatantly makes up a story just for a story. And the news, everyone's been doing this for forever, for quite some time, right? What I like so much about it is that it's super poignant, I think, in this day and age, even more so than before. Maybe I'm biased because we're living through it, but all this celebrity gossip, fake news, whatever you want to call it, like, it's delicious what they do in She-Hulk. So when she is walking in to see Emil at one point, the main reporter that we see, the beautiful woman, she's gorgeous, I think, says something along the lines of, what's this rumor I hear about the Avengers rejecting you? So they're making up stories about She-Hulk, who's been a superhero for a week, already got in touch with the Avengers, already got rejected, despite nepotism. When she's leaving the trial of Emil, I think it's after all is said and done, the same news reporter says something along the lines of, oh, what was it? What the hell was it? I forget what. Oh man, it was so good too. Oh, she says, this isn't a lie about She-Hulk. It kind of is. It's a lie about Jen. Jen is running away from the media because she doesn't want to say anything. She doesn't want to like deal with them. And the reporter says, oh, clearly she is running away from the protesters that are gathered outside of the prison. She's not. She's running away from you, which I love. I fucking love that. And then there's that news article about She-Hulk having the Abomination's baby. These little things here they put in there. They pepper this stuff in there. If you blink, you miss it. That kind of peppering. And it's just solid. It's just solid. At the end, Jen is going about her business and she gets jumped by a man, not like a kid. He's a man. He's like probably in his 20s, with a magic Asgardian crowbar. He says something to her. His buddy, with a magic, it looked like a ball and chain, I think it was, comes up from behind her and holds her in place. And Jen's like, oh, I'm the Hulk. Hulk's out. More buddies come out. It's the Wrecking Crew from the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of the Wrecking Crew. Sounds like they got a slightly different origin. Jen says in her She-Hulk form, says, would you jump an Asgardian construction worker? And they said yes. In the comics, I think Wrecker, who's the main one, finds the magic crowbar, and he's able to give his buddies or some people around him magical abilities. It's kind of the Shazam method, where the more people that he imbues with his power, the weaker he is, which I like. Hey Zach, what's up? Which I like that detail because it shows like teamwork and a brotherhood. Like it shows again a little. I hope they put that. I don't know if they put this in the MCU. I hope they do, because it shows another side to these villains. Now, the review that I was watching, remember the one with the husband who forced his wife on so he could have a female voice that just echoes what he says, that has no stakes in echoing what he says? Remember that guy? Yeah. Well, he was like, why? This is dumb. Why is only one of you attacking at the time? This is the worst plan ever. Yes, it is. Because they're idiots. And they're shown to be idiots. And do idiots have good plans? No. Do idiots have good opinion? You tell me, sir. You tell me. This guy really fired me up. Really fired me up with his shitty hot takes. That's the episode. I thought it was pretty solid. I thought it was really good. Let's talk about, we already talked about a couple things you might have missed on the first watch. There's a couple here I jotted down that I want to bring up. I should have done it as we go. Maybe next time I'll remember. Who knows? This is all freeform. Okay, so here we go. There's some digs at the male stereotype, in my opinion, on this episode, and they're fairly subtle. Some of them are very obvious, like the bro worker is very obvious, but Wong displays some toxic male traits, which I thought was pretty interesting. He is late and values his time over others. In Wong's case, I think it's rightfully so, because he's the Sorcerer Supreme, so he's probably, hopefully, doing something very important. But he has that like, oh, I'll be on time when I want to be on time kind of thing. And he does apologize when he's late. He's not purposefully doing this, right? But he's doing it. It's like, it's that like ignorance of the privilege that he has as being a man. That's how I kind of looked at that. They play off very tongue-in-cheek. It's very subtle. This is a good, in my opinion, little technique that they call hiding the medicine in the cookie. And they did a good job at it. We all took it. We don't know we took it, but we did. There was this other little thing where, oh, that's right. That's right. She-Hulk is wearing a men's big and tall suit. You notice how that suit didn't fit quite right on her? It's because she's wearing a man's suit. Now, what I'm hoping is going to happen is this. I hope she eventually gets her own like lawyer suit. I don't want to say like suit because the people might think super suit. Her own lawyer suit that fits appropriately as the show goes on. And that's a little bit of what we like to call symbolism, folks. Symbolism. Because as the show goes on, that suit's going to get more and more comfortable for her. She's going to feel a little bit better in it. And that is, follow me on this one. That is us as an audience getting more and more comfortable with the show, getting more and more comfortable with the lessons that it's trying to say. What She-Hulk is trying to say. It's a comedy wrapped in a superhero show, wrapped in, I think, some social commentary. It's not heavy-handed. It's not new social commentary. I mean, episode 1 was very heavy-handed, but we're getting more calmed down with it. And as She-Hulk gets, thank you, Dylan. And as the suit gets more comfortable, she gets more comfortable in her own skin. She does a lot of micro expressions where she was like she's always kind of doing that kind of thing. Like she's very anxious, it seems, uncomfortable with what's going on around her. I think as she starts to embrace the Hulk part of her, the suit's going to get a little better fit. We're going to feel a little more comfortable with the lessons it's trying to teach us. And maybe we'll, and I say we, I'm talking about generalized men that are watching it. Maybe we'll start to talk to the women in our lives a little bit differently, or look at them a little bit differently, right? Be a little more cognizant. I know ever since I got that scathing email for Avatar the podcast a while back, I know I've been definitely double thinking things I say and like trying to be, when I'm joking. When I press this, you know, I have a fucking laugh track. But in real life, outside of internet land, this show, I guess what I'm saying is this show has come at a very interesting time in my life, and it's helping me out quite a bit. And I hope it's helping out other people too. You know what I mean? Pug is the bro worker's lawyer. So basically the partner of the firm says, hey, guess what? You can have Jen or you can have the other woman. He goes, I want this guy. The guy's name is Pug. Pug is a character from the comic, but more interestingly enough, he is played by Josh. I think it's pronounced Segara. It's 2 R's. Segara. If this guy looks kind of familiar to you and you watched Arrow all the way to the end, he played Adrian Chase in Arrow. I was like, he looks so fucking familiar, and I couldn't place him. The difference is he has hair. He's got a different hairdo, but same guy. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, they make a note about how Wong was late to the trial of Emil, and he has 0 commute time, which I think is the most relatable thing in the world. You ever notice, is this just me? I feel like the shorter my commute time gets, the later I am to do what I need to do to be where I need to be. Anyone else? Because this is what happens. You have an hour commute time. You go, crap, I got to leave an hour and 15 minutes just in case traffic, red lights, whatever, right? And you get there usually early. But when you have a 10-minute commute, you're like, I could be there in 10. There's no stoplights. And all of a sudden, that 10 becomes 5. Like you leave yourself 5 minutes, and all of a sudden you're late every day of the week. I think that was just the most relatable part of the episode for me anyways. Like Wong killed it. Absolutely killed it. Oh, and let's not forget. Notice how I gave everyone a little bit of a break in case you're getting angry about what I was saying about kind of some male stuff. That's also, I'm not an expert on it. Just things I'm seeing. I fucking loved the social media toxic men posts. 100 out of 10. So good. And accurate. So this is what She-Hulk did. She-Hulk put out 2 episodes, and they let all of this buzz happen, and they let all of these, they knew what they were doing, right? And maybe this, you know what, now I'm thinking about it, maybe this is why the first episode was so heavy-handed. You know? With that, I'm a woman, I'm always angry, like I can control my anger, but like it was so like heavy-handed that, and which is unlike the rest of the series so far, at least out of 3 episodes. They've been a little more subtle with everything. So I think they planted that there. I don't actually, this is what I would like to think. I don't think they actually did this. This is a comedy superhero show. It's on a streaming service. I don't know if they thought this far ahead. I'd like to think they did because it's just funnier to me. They planted this thing in there that they knew wouldn't land with a certain demographic, and they put it in and they waited for that demographic to head to social media and make all the posts just so they can make fun of them in episode 3. And it's so good. It's so rewarding. And what they are saying in She-Hulk, these social media influencers, these toxic men and the MCU, is near identical to what is being said actually in real life. And I know I've been looking and I've been tearing my hair out. I don't have much of it left to tear out, but I've been tearing out because it's just so fucking frustrating. And I can only imagine how frustrating it is for an actual woman who enjoys this, who is in nerd culture. I'm not just saying that for the clicks. It's like, I don't know, the show is actually having some form of impact on me. Because, say it with me, everyone, they're hiding the medicine in the cookie. I do it for my dog every goddamn day with her anxiety pills, twice a day. They're doing it to us once a week. And for me, it's working. And I like that. With all that being said, what of my review, if I were to give it a new, I don't like giving numerical value, but I think it helps. I think it's a 3.5 to 4 out of 5. 3 point. I think it's right now, I think it's 3.5 out of 5. I watched the episode 3 times. Would I watch it a 4th? Probably not. But I enjoyed it. I don't do 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. I did like this a little bit better than the second episode, but I think giving it a 4 out of 5 is a little much. It's still, as much as I've been singing its praises over the past, 30 minutes, however long it's been, 40 minutes. I still think it's a mid-tier show. It's just doing a better job at saying what it wants to say, I think I like it a bit more than Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel for me, out of the more recent batch of MCU shows, I want to bring up a list just so I can be a little more accurate in what I'm saying here. If you'll pardon me for a moment. Here we go. So the more recent ones being Hawkeye. We'll leave Hawkeye up here. Moon Knight, Miss Marvel. Yeah, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, right? These guys. I think for me, Moon Knight's bottom of the barrel. I liked it, but it's bottom of the barrel. I think Miss Marvel and She-Hulk for me are top tier. I think for me, it would go She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, Moon Knight. I think that's my order for these. So far. Now, with all that being said, it's She-Hulk's game to lose at this point for me, because I did very much enjoy Miss Marvel. I liked the side characters they introduced. I liked the moral that it had. I think that it just kind of lost sight of what's important a little bit in the middle there, but otherwise it was fine. And this She-Hulk format, comedy, breaking fourth wall, which I enjoy. Apparently that was something that I didn't read. I'm not a big She-Hulk fan from the comics, so I didn't really read a lot of her books, but I did a little research when I was talking to my close personal friend Brad Woto.
Well done, Greg. Fucking killing it.
And apparently she breaks the fourth wall, at least in the beginning of her comic run. So that's accurate to the comics. I'm not going to touch it. I prefer that the Deadpool headcanon where he only breaks the fourth wall because he's just gone through so much and he's broken down so much as an individual that he realizes that he's a work of fiction. And so he can like look through the camera, look through the page, and talk to us. She-Hulk doesn't have that same trauma. I'm not saying she doesn't have trauma, but she didn't get terminal cancer and then land in a horrific government experiment for years and years and years that cost him the woman he loved. You know, like, I think it's just different traumas. I don't think She-Hulk had the same severity of trauma that he had. I don't know. This gen could be different. We don't know her full backstory, but so far what they presented just leads me to believe that, you know, she's had the hard time that a lot of women have had. That doesn't involve government experimentation, that leaves you permanently scarred when you were very vain and you valued how good you looked anyways, and that separated you from the one that you love and left you with a form of DID and the inability to tell what's real and what's not. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. MVP of the episode, Wong. I think it's Wong. And a close second is the Abomination, is Emil. I very much like that. I very much enjoyed that whole, both of those. Not twerking. I don't want, listen. All I'm going to say about the twerking. This is all I'm going to say about the twerking. Get rid of my cheat notes. If you didn't like it, I did not like it. If you didn't like it, it's not for you. I didn't like it. It's not for me. It doesn't all have to be for me. It doesn't all have to be for me. Some people enjoyed that. What they did, I wish they established a little bit more in the beginning that she was a much larger fan, because when they say like Megan Thee Stallion, in hindsight, Jen does go, oh, Megan Thee Stallion, Grammy award winning, blah, 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 and like spouts off a bunch of facts about her. I wish they played into that a little bit more, so that when she's twerking with Megan Thee Stallion, that means that, and she loses control. She goes, I'll kill for you, right? She says that, and Megan Thee Stallion's like, whoa, take it back a little bit. That would be a little more believable. But again, this is still a lawyer superhero comedy. That's all this is. That's all this is. Does it mean she has powers? What do you mean? Megan the Stallion? I don't think that means she has powers. She could. I don't think that necessarily means it though. Anyways, that's my review. 3.5 out of 5 still. Still pretty mid, but they're doing a great job at it. He signed her. Oh, she signed her. I don't think they thought that far ahead, Dylan. I don't think they thought that far ahead. I thought they just thought it was a cute scene. That's it. That's it. Or maybe this is Jen trying to get back into normal law instead of like superhero law. I don't know. I don't think we have a lot of episodes left of She-Hulk. Was this an 8-episode season? Anyone know? I don't know. 9? Okay. Yeah. So we're about a third of the way through. So far, pretty solid. This is one of the shows that I'm actually upset if I see any spoilers on because I was late to watch it, which I'm trying not to be now. I'm trying not to be, but it's good. It's good. That's it. That's all I got to say on that.